Sup, it's Chadlantis, and today what I'm going to be doing is providing you some helpful hints and tips and general guidance for what to do on the map of Black Shield for the sense and purposes of trials. This also applies for elimination. However, a lot of teams in elimination simply just don't care, so they just randomly just do whatever they want. They don't care about winning or whatever a lot, or they'll just be trying out a lot of new unorthodox strategies. There's also a lot of elimination teams are typically the more sweaty characters and players, and not so much the players who just want to go and try to get some gear, so they don't really follow into those basic patterns that a lot of people do in trials. In trials card, if you have all loot, or not all loots, if you have all the boons attached for bonus wins and the mercs and everything like that, you actually only need to beat 7 teams to be able to go flawless. With that said, out of those 7 teams, 4 to 5 usually will follow into the basic patterns provided on this the heat map here that you'll be able to look out for like where they're going to be located and challenging you and etc. Very common. You'll be finding them where the common locations where deaths are on these heat maps. Regarding heat map, let me go ahead and cover it real quick. This is a heat map provided by Bungie themselves, so it's an official statistical representation of common death locations. Anywhere is white is either a structure that you actually can't get inside of, so obviously nobody dies there, or people die there so rarely that it didn't even register for the heat map. So this is alpha spawn, this is bravo spawn, this is inside heavy, this is outside heavy, to give you an idea of where everything is. This is the capture point, and this is that shield that's around the capture point. This is that top platform next to capture point outside. This is that inside middle platform. This is alpha connector right here, or otherwise known as cubby. This is bravo connector, otherwise known as bravo cubby. This is the bravo command room or building or whatever you want to call it. I don't know what the proper name is for it. Here's the alleyway and lanes for alpha and bravo, and this is the tunnel for alpha tunnel that goes back rounding about to the alpha spawn. So those are general locations, so you have an idea of where everything is. Also, I apologize for the ghetto kind of format for how this helpful video is structured. I don't really have time to do a really high quality video because I do trials, runs, and carries for viewers 10 to 12 hours a day, Friday through Mondays. So when the map is released, I don't have time before the trials weekend is over to be able to construct a video well enough for you at high enough quality to matter at that point. The trials is already going to be over. It won't matter at that point. What I can do though is I started recording footage of me playing on certain maps, such as this week on Black Shield. It's the first week I started doing it. Recording footage of just raw footage, and that way I can hopefully in the future be able to construct a video that's a first person walk through the map, so you can have complete visualization, real-time representations and applications of what I talk about for strategies and basic hints and stuff like that. So you have a really good and easy way of visualizing exactly what I'm talking about. So that really high quality video will probably take a very long time, and I quite don't know how to properly do so for that kind of video right now, so I have to take even more time to figure out how to do that kind of video in the first place. So I really hope in the near future I can get at least the first video for Black Shield out, and then if I do, then I'll have some kind of annotation above me or something that says click here, and then you'll be able to watch that better high quality video if you're watching this video in the future. Hopefully it's there, and if it's not available yet, then you won't see a quick click here annotation above me because video is not provided yet. Please keep waiting. Please be patient. Pardon my dust. Anyway, moving on. Heat map. White means basically nobody dies in those locations, or you can't get to that location because of structures. Blue, the darker the blue it is, means the more commonly people die there. Lighter the blue, less commonly. Even more so beyond the blue stage is the orange to red stage. So there's 2 different stages of colors. The orange stage, the light oranges, such as over here, people die there more often than the dark blue locations, but not as often as the dark red locations. Dark red locations are the most commonly most commonly found death locations. There we go. That would apply. So the very first thing I'd advise you is study this heat map and do not stay for a long period of time on top of the locations where these common death locations are. So on these little ramps inside, in this corner for alpha spawn side, around these corners towards heavy, on top of this platform here, peeking these doors on the outside, standing in this doorway where grenades can just flood at you from alpha side and if you're spawning on bravo, chilling right here next to these boxes, that just doesn't work out. People stand there all the time. It just doesn't. It gets a 50-50 chance. So standing in those locations, there's a really good chance, and you're more probable to die in those locations than anywhere else in the map statistically. Obviously, it doesn't mean that if you stand in this white location over here when you're alpha spawn, you're just going to be invincible. That just means that it's very rare that people die there, simply because nobody really stays in alpha spawn this far back ever, or if they are in this area, it's because they're rotating, relocating from one location to another, so they're just running through those locations. So people typically don't stand there to fight. With that said, there's something you need to know, which is called Snipe Lines. If you've never heard of a Snipe line before, that means it's a long range distance instance of a pure line of sight where you can easily use a sniper to kill somebody else. Standing in this corner right here next to Alpha Spawn, right when you come through the doorway, is a snipe line for Bravo Spawn's doorway. Very commonly, people will be in this doorway area or even right here, and they'll be trying to snipe somebody who's standing in this corner right here. That's very, very common. And with that in mind, on these snipe lines, I like to call them more so 50-50 lines. The reason why I call them 50-50s is because you can stand here and see these people just as much as these people standing here can see you. So with that in mind, you're just as likely to kill them as they are to kill you. I stand in those lines a lot when I do carries, especially in the earlier games for the cards, because I just have confidence that I just boast and have that like threat and just pump up my chest and be like, yo, I can beat you. And I typically do just because I simply outskill people, but I recognize most people aren't able to outskill a lot of people in that same sense. So I would advise to, unless you have that huge amount of confidence that you can win, then just stay away from the 50-50s. Because if you like goes that 50-50 line and you die there, your team's going to have such a hard time getting you a res for you, because while your orb is there, your orb is being able to be easily covered by a sniper who can just, when your teammate tries to go res you, they'll get shot in the head. Or if they do get you res without dying, then you'll likely get killed as soon as you res anyway before you can do anything. So it's not strategically viable really when you're playing against a good team that you're struggling against to ever go there. As soon as I like go against a team that wins 1 to 2 rounds on me, it's very, very, very rare I'll ever stand in these snipe lines right at the start of the match. Also, with that said, typically people dying in these locations, they die in those locations when the match starts. All except for this line right here, this line right here, which looks to here and looks to here. This like X-shaped pattern are the only really like high like common death locations that occur beyond the first 30 seconds of the game. These locations right here are common death locations because as soon as people spawn, they run straight to these locations and they like die immediately. That's just how it is. They're very advantageous locations if you get there first. However, you're also very vulnerable in these locations. There's not much cover in these locations, and it's very easy to get caught up by grenades and snipers and shotguns for this top platform and all around these corners. Shotguns love those locations, etc. So it's very easy to down those locations. So especially when you start off the match, be careful of those heat map locations. Now, this X-shaped area right here, the reason why those are also death locations, sure, people die there pretty immediately at the start of the game as well, but also as the games go on, typically one team will take control of the inside area and the other team will take control of the outside area. And while they take control, most people don't really know what to do from there because they don't really want to push through these side doorways because they can get easily sniped and they're fearful of it. And typically people will think that they have a better like edge if they just kind of look right here or stand right here or stand right here or stand right here and just look through the doorways to try to snipe somebody. For whatever reason, people think they have a huge advantage there, more so than trying to play for the doorways. But in reality, they really don't. Especially if you look at the heat map locations and see a lot of people die in these locations and it's not as red in this doorway and not as red. It was still pretty freaking red, but not as red in this doorway. The reason why this is a lot more red than this doorway for the Bravo size doorway is because, like I said earlier, a lot of people in Alpha will go right here and try to snipe this doorway while people will stand in this doorway and kind of just like chill. You can kind of see from this like heat maps as well what the actual lines are dictating. This like area right here kind of like looks towards this corner, whereas up here kind of looks towards this side of the like, I forget what they're called, but they're like tube construction thing right here. So this is like an X pattern of snipe lines. So just be cautious of the snipe lines. Just know that's going to be happening a lot. And honestly, unless you're a really good and high skilled sniper, I would advise not going to the snipe lines ever. Only recently I actually finally got to a sniping skill level where I can like compete with a lot of people and beat most people in these snipe lines. But even then, I still have this little like trickling like nervous feeling of, oh god, I hope I don't goose here where I just mess up and just die. Because if I die in that snipe line, like I said earlier, likely you're not going to get revived and you're a detriment to your team at that point. So with that said, understanding of what heat maps are and where common death locations are to avoid and stay away from typically. Beyond that, I'll give you the 2 basic roles of the strategy for this map. Black Shield has an attacking role and a defense role. Most maps do have an attack and defense role. And that's typically a defense role is a team that sits on the cap point, controls it immediately, and waits for the other team to attack and pursue them. The attack role is a team that goes into whatever other location and has to try to attack the team that's sitting on the capture point. The capture point's right here outside. A team that will go outside will typically just sit outside and chill and wait for the other team to be able to attack on them. The team that goes inside is typically the quote-unquote attacking team, who dictates the pace of the round and determines when the action will actually take place. First, if you're a defense side going outside and sitting on the capture point, what you can do is have one member of your team staying around this general area, one member of your team staying on this general area, and one member of your team staying generally in the middle area. Not so much like hard scoping these snipe lines as I told you to avoid earlier, but just keep an eye on the doorway, mostly. Based on radar and how useful it is very common. You'll be able to find where the enemy is trying to attack you from the inside. You'll be able to set up defenses, set up hard scopes, and be able to just team shot people who are coming at you. If they have to run around the corner, or if they have to like jump up over rocks or something, they're at a disadvantage because while in the air jumping over rocks or whatever objects, you cannot accurately shoot people. They have to be extremely lucky to be able to shoot you as much while in the air as you shoot them while on the ground, because your just accuracy of guns in Destiny is just insanely more accurate while your 2 feet are planted on the floor. Unless of course you have the exotic appearing Bellicos or the Titan, or you have that perk for the Sunsinger, I forget what it's called, but like Angel of Light or something, I don't know. Nobody really uses it effectively, so nobody really cares what it's called. So if they're jumping in the air, you have an advantage over them. Also, if they're running around the corner, they don't quite know what's going on. They have to try to figure out where you are in relative like areas outside in the outside area, but you can look at this one corner. They have to come around this one corner, so you can hard scope or just team shot and prepare for people coming around one specific corner. You know they're going to come that way. Whereas when they come around the corner, they have to figure out where you are outside. So just chilling outside, knowing where they are coming at you based on the radar, very effective strategy for the defense side. And you'll just sit there and wait for the people to try to challenge you eventually, because they need to, because you have the capture point. This works obviously, I just using the mouse on Bravo side, but obviously it works for Alpha side too. And if they run invisible, you can typically hear them activate invisibility. So if that happens, the person on the left side, person on the right side, person in the middle, keep your eyes peeled and just be looking for them, not only on radar but also with your physical eyes and looking at them on your screen. Now if you're the attacking side, taking control of inside of the main building, well, I don't know what it's called. I should probably have looked up the typical like sweaty terminologies for these locations, but I'll be sure to do that for the next video. I don't have time for this one. Ain't nobody got time for that. Anyway, if you go inside, you're typically the attacking team for this map. What that means is when you go inside and control it, you'll be able to determine exactly when you challenge a team who's outside, either challenging from this location towards Alpha side, challenging from Bravo side, or challenging straight from the middle. The best way of determining which side you should challenge is scout out your radar. Just kind of go near these corners. Don't quite go in the lines where you can like peek and try to get your head blown off kind of deal, but just kind of go near these corners and look on your radar and just be like, are the enemies around this area? And if they are, they're typically going to be watching those doorways, entrances, and waiting for you to come in, as I just advised defensive teams to do. So you want to be like patient and try to figure out which side of the radar they are not really on. If you don't really see them on the radar, they don't see that you're on that radar, and that gives you an advantage, an element of surprise, because if they're sitting out here waiting for a capture point time to like run down for the 2-minute timer, they don't know that if you're not on the radar, they have no idea you're going to just suddenly come around this corner. Typically they could be sitting like way off to the side and have this crazy sniping on you, but even if so, if you're very rapidly jumping around the corner or something, or just sliding around the corner or something like that, very unlikely they'll be able to pick you off instantly. You know, you shouldn't be scared of snipe lines, just be cautious and aware of them and try to work around them, but don't be scared of them. Very specific difference. So just be patient while on the attack team and try to figure out where their weakness is, where they're not on your radar, and attack from that side so you catch them off surprise. If you're the defense team, consciously always look on all the sides of the radar and try to make sure they never catch you on surprise. Pretty simple. The only two variables for that and throws wrenches in those plans is option A, where both Alpha and Bravo side attack inside the building. That happens very commonly. More often than not, the fight will happen with both teams rushing inside. Option B is both teams rush outside and then try to attack, and they'll basically be in a firefight for who controls the capture point, really. There are so many variables for a firefight where both Alpha and Bravo both go outside from the start of the round and just clash. So many variables for what can happen there that I just simply cannot cover them all in this video. But what I can advise is right here on the bottom of the special area and down here on their rocks special area for Bravo, huge snipe line across the way. Be cautious of that. Also on top of the platform right next to the capture point, you have a huge vantage point. You can see everything that's going on. However, while you can see everything that's going on, they also can see you. So don't be up there for too long. Otherwise you can probably get picked off. Also on these ramps and slopes of the map, you can use those as head glitches. Head glitches basically if you like can barely see over a slope slope or something, or a ramp, or barely see over a box kind of a deal, you can still shoot them because you can barely see over it. You can shoot their whole body, but they can barely see your head. So try to utilize these head glitches. I freaking hate this about Destiny. I really hate it. I really wish Destiny didn't code their game to where your gun's basically right up your head like this at all times, because that's really weird to me. People don't typically hold guns like this. People typically hold guns like this, bottom of their head, to where you need to be able to see the whole head typically to be able to shoot out. Your gun's not going to be able to shoot that through that rock if you're holding like this, like your character model is doing, when you're coded to actually be as if you're holding the gun like this. I hate it. I hate it, and I hope it gets fixed. But until it gets fixed, you as my content creation viewing party, we'll run with that. You can utilize this. Yay, I'm helping you be a scumbag. But yeah, hard scoping angles like that and using head glitches is very easily effective. That's kind of why I ran Sunsinger before the June update, is because it's very easily effective. You can utilize exploits like that to be able to give yourself an edge to win, because winning really matters. Winning is what counts here. It's not really all about pride or anything like that. If you want to do that, you can go in a custom game somewhere. Oh wait, there's no custom games. Whoops. Anyway, winning matters in trials. You want to go flawless, right? So use whatever resources to your disposal, not exposal. I don't even know if that's a word. It's like 5 a.m. when I'm recording this. I need to go to bed. You can tell by my eyes I'm like insanely tired. Anyway, be on the lookout. Try to use head glitches the best you can and work with the team if you're on a firefight outside full on from the spawn. If you're on a firefight full on from the inside of the map, typically if you're like a close quarters person like last word or shotgun or something like that, try to hug this corner and go to this ramp area as fast as possible. Don't jump up so much unless maybe you have a shotgun, but as soon as you jump up, as you can tell by this heat map, good chance you're going to die. But use this ramp area to get a vantage point, especially at the top of the ramp, and be able to shoot at people who are jumping up, because most people are idiots and do jump up, and try to like throw grenades over this middle platform and stuff like that. Now for heavy round, what you can look out for on the inside is almost every team that goes inside for heavy will run straight up this ramp, turn around this corner, and throw a grenade down the hallway. Almost every team will do that. Run up the ramp, throw a grenade down the hallway. Run up the ramp, throw a grenade down the hallway. Every once in a while somebody run up the ramp and just use primaries or hard scope around down the hallway, but it's almost always the grenade that's thrown down the hallway. You can also throw a grenade over this middle platform. That's typically what I do as a blade dancer. I have skip grenades. Also is a very effective strategy if you have lightning grenades as a Titan striker. Throw that lightning grenade on the far wall over the platform, and that's almost guaranteed to hit people going into this ramp area. So just be cautious of that. There's going to be a lot of nade spam stuff like that during heavy round. For outside heavy, standing right about here, there's like a box you can jump on, and you can like scope over what would be like a head glitch, as I explained earlier, and you have a perfect line of sight to the heavy spawn. So if you spawn alpha, you have a huge advantage to if you go to that head glitch spot on the rock. Basically nobody looks for you there. Almost every team has no idea that area exists, so you can almost always get a free headshot kill, at least one when they go for the heavy down there. If you're from Bravo's side, I don't quite know what the exact best effective strategy is for heavy. I'll typically go around rocks area, or try to go through the middle like capture point area to get in the dirty and like catch them off guard, because you don't think I actually go through here. Most people don't do that, so unorthodox strategy typically takes people off guard. So I'll do something like that for heavy round. But I personally almost always go inside though, so I don't have a lot of complete understanding and knowledge for outside heavy play. Typically my carry help guy will do that, like Mufano 4 or somebody will cover outside while I go inside. Inside's my home. That's my kitchen. I control that. So I'll throw skip grenades over, and then I'll like try to get here really fast because I'm a blink blade dancer or whatever, hard scope them down, stuff like that. I'll try to just play around it. Those are general strategies for this map. Hopefully I gave you some good understanding. If you want more in-depth understanding of this map, definitely hit me up on my Twitch stream. I stream every single day. 7 p.m. Eastern time is my start time for non-trials days. 2 p.m. Eastern time is the start time for my trials days. That's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday is trials, and I stream typically 10 to 12 hours of trials days, typically about 5 hours for non-trials days every day. Twitch.tv/Chadlantis. If there's a day I take off, I'll tweet about it, so follow me on Twitter at ChadlantisTV. Boom, self-promotion. There we go. But yeah, leave a comment below as well. You can leave a comment in the comments below. You can hit me up on Twitter. You can hit me up in my stream chat. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, or praise regarding this like trials help, or regarding this Black Shield map for trials, if you have any ideas for how I can improve this experience, and maybe a better topic like focus, or maybe more things I didn't think of that I could elaborate and explain, if you have other questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Just let me know. I got your back on that. I'll give you any information I have to help you be successful in trials as well. Obviously, I can also help you be successful in trials by doing a carry with you, by winning a raffle, or entering my Virgin list for Virgin Sundays. That's up to you too. Twitch.tv/Chadlantis. I'll see you there. Anyway, that's it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you learned something. Hopefully it helped in some way. Subscribe to this channel if you enjoy this video, as well as daily vlogs, daily Let's Play uploads, weekly top 5 Destiny community plays, etc. Also leave a like on this video if you liked it. That lets me know directly that you liked it, and that'd be awesome. Otherwise, thank you so much for being you, and thank you as always, citizens, for watching.